Hi, thank you for joining me today on Honorable Outfitters, where we discuss camping, especially historical camping. Today we're going to divert that from that just a little bit because it is the shopping season. Now, I am going to show you a bunch of things that are on my Amazon affiliate page. However, a lot of this stuff you don't need to go online to get. You can go and get this at your closest big box store. But these are things that I rely on and I really enjoy using. And I thought I would share them with you as other gift ideas in case you need something for your stocking or just for that special person who is either into outdoor adventure or maybe getting into outdoor adventure. I'm going to try to give you all the items that I use from the cheapest supplier that I could find. With Amazon, things fluctuate here and there, so you never exactly know. Always do your due diligence. But again, these are things that I personally use, and I suggest that you use them because they've worked out quite well for me. Most of it is not historical. Most of it is more modern or contemporary. A lot of historical things they just don't make anymore. So if you see something in my videos, you're like, man, that'd be really cool to have, eBay is going to be your best bet. Okay, but as we get started, let's start off with the knife. Now this is my Gerber knife that I've had since I was a scout, honestly. I don't even know if they really make this exact particular model, but that's the nice thing about buying gear once. You pay a high price and it lasts forever. This is the super basic. It doesn't even have wire strippers, although since it's my outdoor knife, it's not like you're going to need to be stripping electrical wires anyways. But it has your set of pliers, it has a knife, it has a saw, has a screwdriver, flat and Phillips, and it even has a little lanyard hole and a can opener. That's it. It's like a 10-tool knife. It even has a little scale for inches on here, so if you're fishing or something, to give you an idea about length, that's just nice to have. Having a set of pliers is really nice to have for gear repair. That's mainly why I take this particular one when I do my modern camping. Now you can get Gerbers for different models. The one that I found that if I was going to buy, again, if I was going to buy a new Gerber, it would probably be the Gear Trust 17-in-1 needle nose pliers for $49.90. So again, Gerber, that's what I use. I've also have a Leatherman that I use. I don't know where my Leatherman is at the time. It might even be in my fishing box. I don't remember. But there you go. So get yourself some type of multi-tool, especially again for repairing gear. The next thing on my list is the B.S.A ferro rod. There's a lot of manufacturers of ferro rods out there. I opted for this 1/2-inch B.S.A and I put a little piece of cord through it so I can twist it around and I don't lose it. It doesn't come out of my hands. That's one of the reasons why I like this model versus one that has a big bulb or some type of handle on it. With this, I'm good to go. It's not going to come out as I strike it. And I can also just tie this onto something and it's good to go. This is going to last me my life. I'm never going to need another one of these things. This is it. And for this particular model, it's $10.95. I got my own kids each one of these and put it in their stockings last year or the year before. So that's pretty nice and handy to have. The next thing on this list here is this particular model of an air mattress. Sleep is so important when you're going on an outdoor adventure. This one is really cheap. It's $26.98. I got this for my kids right before summer camp. That way they would sleep well for that week-long summer camp. Back in my day, we didn't have air mattresses. I know. But, again, just to reiterate, sleep is really important. If you do not have a good night's sleep, you are not going to be at your best the following day. So we get to do these outdoor adventures only for short periods of time. Usually we're working or doing other things, running around like chickens with our heads cut off. So when we get to go on our outdoor adventure, we want to make sure that we get the most out of it. And even Kephart and Nesmith, those old timers, all of them, they understood how important sleep was. And they taught you how to make some down beds and things. But this right here, for 30 bucks, you can't beat it. Nice thing about this is it has a pressure inflate, so use like CPR on it or use your foot and it inflates. It's really thick, it's wide. It's not a sleeping bag shape, so especially if you're like me and you roll a lot, you're not going to roll off of it. Again, $26. Now I have this one here that I've had, probably for 12 years or so. This is the Sea to Summit Comfort Plus Extra Tall insulated mattress. These are not cheap. This is 30 bucks. This one right here is $181.29. I got this one though for specifically backpacking because of its compact size. As you can see, it takes up 2/3 of the space of this big one here. It's a little more of a pain in the butt to inflate though. Full disclosure, full honesty. With this one, you got to run around like you're capturing air and butterflies or something, and then you push it through to air this thing up. But if you want an insulated 4-season air mattress that's durable, then go with this one. And for weight as well, it's pretty nice. And you got to have some rope, right? So this Cordage here, I'm pretty sure I bought this at a big box store. I don't remember which one, but I was literally just walking by and I saw a bundle of it. It's 100 foot. And it's like, hey, I'm going to grab a couple of those for me and my boys for when we went to summer camp. But I did put it on Amazon, and it's $6.95 for 100 feet of this stuff. For repairs of your gear, especially leather gear or canvas gear, having some type of stitcher is handy. Now you can go there and you can do it by hand, and I always prefer to do the saddle stitch because of the longevity of it. However, the Speedy Stitcher, which uses a lock stitch, is a nice, quick, easy piece of gear to have, and it gets you going. So instead of getting out everything and taking the time to do it, a Speedy Stitcher really can save you time if you preload the spool and it packs away nice and neat. All the tools are in the bottom of it. This is my grandfather's, and they still sell this style. They still sell this model. So that tells you that they, whenever this was designed, it's working out pretty well for them. So there's two models on my Amazon store. One is $15.96, and that's this basic one, and it's got a little itty bitty spool of string to go with it. Or you can get the larger kit, which comes with way more string, which I honestly suggest that you go for that one, if anything, just because when you're repairing gear or if you're making gear, then you go through string pretty quick. So $25.19 for the larger kit. Stones. Sharpening stones. Sharpening stones are so important. This is my good old trusty axe puck. This one has coarse, it has fine. When you get a chip out of it and you don't have your files with you, having a super coarse stone to work out those chips are pretty nice. They save you a lot of time. This fine side, I think this is like 320 or maybe 600. I don't know. The number I'm pretty sure used to be printed on the side here. Oh, here we go. It is 320 on the fine side. So even 320 is pretty aggressive as far as grit goes, but you can sharpen your knife on this just to get your edge back up to where it needs to be. And then when you get back home or you get back to camp, you can whip out your files and you can do a little bit of a better job. So there's two stones I have on there. This one here is $26.99. And this is pretty nice. I've sharpened my knives on this again. If I just have this one, I don't have my other little stone. This is pretty handy. If you are wanting to put a really nice polished edge on it, 1,000 grit is pretty ideal. You really don't need to go above 1,000 grit on your axe especially, but 1,000 grit and a 6,000 grit is actually cheaper than this thing for $12.99. And when you're at home for your little shop or maybe in your deer camp bag, having a sharpening system like this Lansky sharpening system is pretty cool. It does a really good job of making sure that your edges are even on both sides. If you're new to sharpening your knives or something, and you're just trying to get started, trying to get the basics down, having something like this may be handy. As you can see, I'm sharpening a knife that my assistant scoutmaster gave me as a really kind gift. And it does a good job. Like I said, no matter what knife that you have pretty much, this thing will do it. So the Lansky sharpening system is $46.98. There's off-brand ones. I don't know if Lansky just white labeled their name on it or not, but for the official Lansky one, I found you one cheap for $46.98. These tins, I love. I love having containers. It's one of Dave Canterbury's 10Cs. So having containers for various things. You could put, fire starting material in it. You could put your char cloth in it. I personally mainly use them for food. I found you guys a bundle deal for $13.49 of these tins. If you get a bunch of them for $13.49. I liked making kits, whether it be like my coffee hot cocoa kit. So I have my coffee, I have my sugar, I have my creamer, and I'll have hot cocoa, all in these little kits, and I'll put in black Sharpie marker, You know, C for coffee, S for sugar, etc. Now, if you've watched my channel at all, you know and you've seen this thing here sitting back here. I love having this oven. But the thing about that oven is it's really only good for an in-place camp or maybe a cabin. You're not going to backpack that thing in. So if you are a car camper or if you are a family camper, especially if you like baking things like biscuits or pies or brownies or cookies or whatever it is you're trying to bake, having that oven is actually pretty sweet to have because of the size. And it's lighter still than the Dutch oven. Now the Dutch oven, the beauty of it is you can cook anything on it. Anything on a Dutch oven. But you're making up for it in the weight. But I found you guys a Coleman portable camping oven. So that means it folds down really nice and tight for $43.99 on my Amazon store. Going back to knife, I'm just reading it in order, however it's listed. So the Swiss Army knife. It's a standalone tool that does so much work. You have all these other little smaller tools inside of it. You got your knife, you got your scissors, you got your bottle openers, can openers, you got your awl to make your repairs, etc., etc. Having a Swiss Army knife is really important, I think, even if it's just one of the base models. There's lots of different models that you can get out there. This one here in particular costs about $42.95, and there's also a much larger extensive model for $71.30. That more expensive one even has a little magnifying glass in it, so you can use that to take out splinters or start your fire or what have you. Just depends on what your needs are. Now I think there's better flashlights out there. Okay, if you're an old timer and you just really like these angle flashlights, I found you one for $12.99. It's on the store. It still takes the double Ds. These things are almost indestructible. Not a whole lot that can go wrong with them, so long as you have the light bulb and you have the batteries. I would suggest if you get this, upgrade the light bulb to an LED light bulb for brightness. But I found you one for $12.99. However, in truth, I suggest you go and get yourself a headlamp. It's also on the store. Energizer makes the one that I use. It even has the red light and the flashing light, low and high beam and everything for like around 20 bucks as well. And that thing, it's just great. You can spend more money on flashlights depending on how far you want it to reach or to cast, etc. Rechargeable batteries or AAA batteries. The one I have uses AAA batteries. I like the idea of being able to replace batteries versus having a rechargeable, but that's just me. So again, you can find that on there. And for safety, a whistle. A whistle is underutilized in camping lists. This has been on hunters lists and scout lists and wilderness survival lists, but people just don't like talking about it because it's just not that flashy. I prefer the old school tube whistles because the old school tube whistle, there's nothing that can go wrong with it. Now, if you get the one with a little bead, the bead tends to be more shrill. Okay, this one is very straightforward, loud, but no shrill. 3 blasts of a whistle signals anybody that you're in trouble, and it can help people identify where you are in case you're stuck in a particular place. This is metal, no moving parts. You keep it close to your chest, like you put it underneath your jacket or something, put it in a pocket, and it won't be cold even in the winter months in case you have to use it. But this thing here, this is an Acme Metropolitan Bobby Police Standard Whistle. It's $18.43. Now this is the Scoutmaster's whistle, but this same whistle, same exact whistle. Then we got, so this is your handy dandy, no failure, easy to use, traditional trench lighter, which you strike it, it creates an ember there on your rope. You blow it until it's good and hot, just like that, and you can create a fire. Nice thing is you can extend this out, wrap it underneath your bundle, and then blow it. Get it nice and hot, and you got yourself a fire. Or if you are a smoker, you can stick it in your pipe or light whatever else you need to light. But it also extends. You cover it up. They have a little ball. My kids broke off the little ball of mine. But you cover it up, and then keep the air out of it, and you can touch it now. It's not going to hurt you. This thing lasts forever. In comparison to the char cloth method, which char cloth is great, but it's really difficult sometimes when you're doing the flint and steel to get the embers to light on the char cloth. Now, if you have the ferro rod, which I don't know where I put my ferro rod, but if you have the ferro rod, then that changes things. But this, it takes up so little space. Look at that. And you got yourself your entire flint and steel kit right there. So you can get these for $8 and a penny. $8 and a penny. Yeah. So I would suggest you get that. All right. Now, for beauty, for safety, and for signaling, having yourself a little mirror is really handy. This is like the Walmart Coghlan's green label mirror. You can get these for $4.50. So not only can you see how good you look, but it's also really nice for first aid. And if you know how to signal your people, then that's pretty good too. Okay, so having yourself a mirror I think is really important. $4.50 for that. Now winter is here. I think layering is extremely important, and with that we have these gloves. So these are GI military surplus gloves. Rothko sells the liners for $10.97. So in case you really don't need the leather because it's not really that cold, or if you're not dealing with a bunch of sticks and brush, then just putting these on, especially early in the morning, to grab something out of the fire or to warm up your hands or whatever. That's pretty handy. But when it gets a little bit colder and you really need to insulate, then put these gloves over it. And the nice thing about them being leather is you can go out in the woods and you can gather up your wood, deal with the briars and stuff, and you're pretty solid. So $22.99 for the leather gloves. And with deer season, hunting season, those of you who maybe spend more time out in the woods and just staying still, you're not really pumping your blood, having hand warmers can go a long way in making sure you're comfortable. The first thing I have is this old school one. This uses the charcoal sticks for $15.99. Then put your charcoal in there, you light it on both ends. After you get the coal going really good, you close this up and you're good to go. Keeps it yourself really nice and warm. Put it next to your chest, put it in your pocket, put it in your hands or inside your glove for a short period of time to heat up. If you don't like this style, then you may like this style here. This one uses the lighter fluid. Now this is an Aladdin from the 1960s. They still make this same style, but they just, like Zippo. Zippo makes them. Zippo sells these for $12.76 right now just because of the Black Friday sale. So they're like half the price. A lot of this stuff is half price. So you got your Zippo, you fill it up with the fluid. Zippo fluid is actually cheaper on Amazon right now. So it's $9.05 for a little can of Zippo lighter fluid. You can get the lighter fluid at your big box store. I really enjoy these. There's a very, very small learning curve to them, but once you figure it out, like they keep your hand and body warm for a very long period of time. And if you go to your big box store, you can get the hot hands. These are really nice to have to throw in your sleeping bag. So right before you go to bed, and just like throw 3 or 4 of these all around your sleeping bag, have them rolling around with you as you're tumbling through the night. These do such a great job. They're not going to catch fire. These won't either, but as far as safety goes, these are just a lot safer. So getting yourself a package of these, there's different options. You can get the big packages, which I don't know how many it has, and it just shows a box for $27.50. You can get a 10 count for $6.99. You can get a 5-pack for $5.99, and the big body warmers, the big ones, you can get for $7.48. Lots of different options there with the hand warmers. But again, for the day, I kind of like these. They put out just a little bit more heat than these. The nice thing about these is they are flexible, so if you are putting them in your gloves or in your shoes or something, obviously these ones have a bonus to that, and you can always put them in your pockets as well. But I like putting these in my vest pocket or in my shirt pocket that are closer to the chest because of the amount of heat that they put off. I love it. I love it. And lastly, matches. So if you're an old school person, you may want to get the Marvel's match case. The Marvel's match case is $10 $10.88. It's kind of expensive for just a piece of metal. Yuko also makes plastic match cases. The problem with these metal ones is you got to take a piece of that cardboard striker or take some sandpaper and put it in there, some emery cloth, and that'll take care of you. And there's a bunch of other options on my store, but these are just some of the big highlights that I thought would be really nice to get your guys' mind working on the shopping experience. If you've liked it, if you found it useful or interesting, please click like. That way other people find it. We really appreciate it. And there's some other things coming up. I'm really excited about next week's video because we have Blackie Thomas coming on with us, and he's having a conversation. We're talking about his origin story, and he's giving us some awesome tips and tricks and just discussing camping in general. It was a great conversation. I loved having him on. Thanks to you guys, especially a particular viewer of mine who reached out to Blackie and helped me out in getting that arranged. I'd really like to get Dan Womack and maybe Townsend's and some other people on, so if any of you are friends with any big camp crafter or bush crafter or historical personality and you would like me to have a conversation with them, and you know them, reach out to them. Let them know I'd be interested in talking to them. I love our campfire chats on our podcast. So if you don't have time to watch our long videos on YouTube, don't forget, Campfire Chats with Honorable Outfitters is on all podcasts, all of them. So then you can listen to it on your way to work or when you're on your daily run or something. So make sure to check those out if you are interested in some up and coming things. So there's some big things coming up for us. I'm really excited about this upcoming year and how we're finishing out this current year. Next fall, the end of October, I am working with Dave Canterbury of the Pathfinder School. He invited us to come out and host a historic squirrel hunt camp out at the end of October next year. And as those details come out, our patrons on Patreon get first dibs and they get a few more extra bonuses. So if you've ever been sitting on the fence thinking about being one of my patrons on Patreon and helping out this channel and making sure that it grows in the direction that it's kind of going or even further, then please consider joining our patrons on Patreon. Also consider getting on our email newsletter. It comes out once a month, so it's not spam, and it's really there just to help you. We go in depth about historical artifacts. I do a lot more research. I bring that up to you guys if you're into the history side of it. I also mention various things that might be useful for you to buy, from historic to contemporary stuff, things like that, but also just for the updates of things coming out. They're the ones, besides our Patreons, who get first notice. So again, check out the description box below. I really appreciate you guys. This year has been an awesome year. We've started a lot of things. We're growing in a lot of different directions. And it's all because of you. You guys mean so much to me. I hope as the holidays continue that we don't lose focus of what the holidays really is about. Like, it's not about, gifts and getting gifts and things like that, but it's also honestly just trying to support each other. And with the economic situation of our country and around the world, with high inflation, you can't even go to the grocery store for less than $100. Finding things, especially small things, small ideas, but that are able to make such a big impact, I think are really great, especially to promote outdoor adventure and education. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys check out this video here about the whistle. It'll be right here if you're interested in checking out the video about the trench lighter. Then check it out here. You guys have a great week. Give a kiss note to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.